Hey friends, and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. This is where we take a fresh look at ourselves and the world around us. And with your takes, we learn of something new each and every time we do the show live. And we walk away a little bit changed, a little bit closer to God, hopefully. And today we're going to dive right in on what frustrates you. That's correct. You get to use the microphone. Oh, phone lines are already lighting up, Jerry. I guess a lot of things frustrate our listeners. So if something frustrates you, we want to hear about it. Here's the number, 833-288-3986. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher and you. You're the key person. Jerry, I want to hear it. What frustrates you?
Well, first I was going to say, you mentioned the phone lines already started to fill up. I hope I hope our show is not synonymous with frustration for those who are listening. Maybe it is our show that frustrates you. I don't know. But what gets under your skin? Let's talk about this today. 833-288-3986. Why talk about a topic like this? Well, because, Debbie, I think it gives us opportunities to reframe situations in life. You know, we get frustrated, we get maybe short-tempered, things get under our skin, really bother us. I think all we have to do is just stop and say, wait a minute, you know, how does this fit into the big picture of things? And, of course, it's an opportunity to grow in virtue, you know, the spiritual virtues of life, patience and love, you know, charity for others and so forth. So let's talk about this. Are there any little pet peeve things that really kind of bother you? 833-288-3986. And I just dodged the question, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. If you're not going to go first, I'm going to go first because I have something that frustrates me terribly. Okay, you ready for this one? First of all, folks, please call in 833-288-3986. Okay, yeah, there I am on YouTube and Facebook waving to all you guys. The chats are going. Hi, you guys. Okay, this really frustrates me, Jerry. I like to watch the debates that are happening, you know, and there's been a few of them now. And I think there should be a law that there's an immediate fact-checking system in place. So when the candidates speak, there's like a meter underneath of their screen that says they're either telling the truth or they're blatantly lying, because I just can't take it. It's amazing that I haven't ruined more TV sets by wanting to throw things at them, because I tell you what, it's so irritating to me when you just know that it's a blatant lie that's being spoken. And I guess the theory is if you say it long enough and loud enough, it becomes a truth, which is not. The truth is the truth. I think there should be mandatory laws that there should be immediate fact checkers when politicians speak. What do you think?
Well, I think, I'm equally frustrated, even though I don't watch the debates. I don't want to put myself through that. Sorry, no offense, Debbie, but I know.
No, that's okay. You're probably smarter than I am.
Actually, along those lines, what frustrates me is that we have basically nonstop campaigning. There's never not a campaign for something going on, and I think a lot of it's made for TV. But, you know, I was going to share another frustration, and sure. I understand this. I get it in today's world, but the automated responses when you call your TV service or your phone service or your electric, any company, any service that you call, and you get, of course, that initial prompting, press 1 for this, 2 for this, whatever. When you finally get to a live person and they say, oh, that's not my department, let me connect you to the person who can help you. And then you get online and you're on hold, for like 20 minutes. Right. Somebody else comes on and says, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not my department. I mean, it's just, I understand. I get the whole automated thing because, if you have millions of customers, you can't have somebody or a few people sitting at a desk answering calls and directing calls to where they're supposed to go. But just getting rerouted and then, what happens a lot of the times? Then you get the call disconnects and you have to go through, the whole thing again. So that's a frustration for me in life. But again, it's an opportunity for me who lacks patience so badly to grow in that virtue of patience.
Do you think that those situations kind of find you, Jerry, in order to teach you? Or what do you think? Do you think you get, because I actually automated systems, I've been able to navigate them pretty well lately.
Well, I think that God certainly gives us what we need, and I need opportunities to grow in patience. And so it's also, actually, those are also opportunities for me to go to confession often, too.
Hello, Father, I'm here again.
All right. What about you guys who are listening right now? Surely you have some kind of frustration, some kind of regular thing in your life. Maybe it's not. Maybe it just happened one time. But let's talk about how things get under our skin and how we can kind of maintain our composure. Stay cool, calm, collected. Not let it get us all crazy and upset and so forth. Rock your peace. Yeah. 833-288-3986.
Now I have more things that are bothering me. You know what bothers me too? I think it's very dangerous and very disrespectful to drive and put your makeup on at the same time. And I see that quite often. I see women putting their makeup on as they're driving. I'm like, I don't know how they're doing that. That frustrates me because that's dangerous.
Well, yeah, what's worse than just seeing that being done is they have a cell phone, tweeting in the other hand or texting in the other hand or something. But, well, you know me, I've shared a zillion times on this show how, when I'm behind the wheel of a car, tons of things frustrate me.
Like what? And tell me what frustrates you, because I don't ever want to be in the car in front of you.
Well, no, I mean, you see people do crazy things. You're going on a 3-lane one way, and somebody decides at the last minute they want to turn right. So they, within about 15 feet, they cross both lanes and make a turn. Or people, who drive, they tailgate. I had somebody coming home from Mass this morning, just, basically up my tailpipe on my car, and I'm like going, what's the matter? I was going the speed limit. So. Can
I just say something, though? No disrespect, but one of my territories for Catholic radio was part of California. And, California, you guys are kind of like the U.S. version of the Autobahn.
Some people are, yeah.
It's really dangerous. I find California freeways they make me nervous. And now a lot of Californians are moving to Arizona, so we're getting the same type of thing where people are kind of just riding on your bumper and, chasing in that open spot and weaving in and out of the lanes, and it's just dangerous.
Blame it on us, Debbie. Blame it on us.
Sorry. Well, no, you have to admit, LA is very fast driving.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, you actually have to drive like a maniac just to be safe. If you drive, sanely and legally, you're gonna get run over. Yeah. So anyway, Debbie and I are going way off the rails here, in this conversation. We're just sharing a lot of things that frustrate us and get under our skin. What about you, Take Two family? You're the ones who drive the show. 833-288-3986. We want to talk about this because anytime there are more than one person in any situation, you're going to have some type of maybe frustration, something that bothers you about it. But how do we deal with that? How do we maintain our peace and stay within virtue? Be virtuous in situations like that.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
You remember the time I said on the air, go to confession. And when you're done, go out and have a big ice cream soda. Celebrate. And a man wrote to me, he says, I hadn't gone to confession in 30 years. Do you mind if I went and had a pizza? I said, have 20 pizzas.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Next time on EWTN Live. Catholicism is simply common sense. And Catholic League President Bill Donahue reveals why. He joins Father Mitch on the next EWTN Live.
EWTN Live with me, Father Mitch Pacwa, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on EWTN TV and radio.
Catholic radio gives us an opportunity to become part of a larger family. It can be so lonely when we are struggling in our faith or just try to live our faith on our own. But Catholic radio connects us to that larger community of faith where we're able to get the support, the encouragement, and the grace that we need to not just struggle on, but to really celebrate all the blessings that God brings into our life through our Catholic faith.
Dr. Greg Popchak thinks Catholic radio is important. So should you.
Okay, what really frustrates you? We want to hear from you at 833-288-3986. Just a couple highlights, though. Actually, we wanted to highlight tomorrow's show. It came from about half a dozen listeners that suggested we revisit this topic, and we're titling it Happy, Holy, and Single. Can you be content? And can you be on that beautiful path of holiness and be single? We want to talk about the single ministry. Okay, let's talk about that. And also, too, I just wanted to spotlight Catholic Answers Live tonight, 6 Eastern Time. Get this, folks. 2 hours open forum with Tim Staples, which, by the way, we have confirmed that Tim Staples will be with us on the November 21st webinar that we have planned. So that's exciting. Make sure you listen to the 2 hours open forum, 6 Eastern Time. That's when it starts on Catholic Answers Live. And speaking about webinars, don't forget to register at jerryanddebbie.com. Tonight is this afternoon, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We have Avera Maria Santo with us on same-sex attraction. Go to jerryanddebbie.com. You don't want to miss this 30-minute free webinar today, folks. It's going to be amazing. We have 10 very powerful questions planned for Avera, and I know she can answer them, and she's just a great soul.
She is so happy, so joyful. You're going to be amazed because sometimes we so often think that, same-sex attraction is just this awful thing that if you have that kind of an attraction, you're just ball and chain going through life. You can't be happy, you can't be joyful, you can't practice your Catholic faith. Avera blows all that up. She is just an on-fire Catholic. And you may have kids or relatives or somebody struggling with that or experimenting with same-sex issues or whatever. So join us again. Sign up. You got to register at jerryanddebbie.com, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific time later today. Okay, we're going to go to your calls now on frustrations in life. Chris got on first in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, listening on Prayers for Life Radio. Hi, Chris. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Good afternoon, Jerry and Debbie. How are you?
Doing well,
okay,
Chris. How is your niece, I believe? We've been praying. How is she doing?
She's doing much better. They found out she had IBS.
Oh,
I'm not sure what that is, but that's what it was. So she's doing okay. And anyway, so I heard you, when I got on, when I was calling in, I heard you were talking about frustration, and I can tell you, when you're driving, a school van, it can get very frustrating, on the roads and all that, where drivers, not paying attention to the school vans and all that, and then they park on the side of the road when you can't get through. That makes it a lot hard to, to keep your frustration down on that, and it gets to you,
What did you say? It's a school van that you drive, Chris, did you say?
Yeah, I drive a school van for special needs. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, God bless you for doing that. God bless you for doing that. And I can just think that, you've got a schedule. I mean, you're kind of on a deadline. Obviously, classes or whatever activities start at certain times. So, I can certainly imagine, Chris, that you would have to be sort of, if you're anything like me, when I drive a car, I'm not driving because I want to drive. I enjoy it sometimes, but, the key, the purpose of driving is to be somewhere, not so much to get somewhere. And when you have those little things happen like you're talking about, I think it could be definitely, Debbie, frustrating for Chris, especially, like I say, he's got people to deliver on time.
Well, and I just think, don't you think, Chris, in a general way, people are just kind of on autopilot, unconscious and not really, really being in the moment and really present about what it means to do the proper thing. I've noticed lately that it just seems like people they're zoned out a little. What do you think about that? Not everyone, but just, there are those few that kind of stand out.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. And the other thing, too, is what it is I see a lot of people driving on the highway in the Worcester area, wherever, and it's very congested because where they're doing construction work and all this, you don't know where they're going to be doing construction, and all these constructions are so close that it's incredible on how you got to be patient, with people walking in the street on their cell phones, not paying attention to the drivers who are driving. That's another thing that can be a dangerous thing, too. And what frustrates you on that is that they're not paying attention when you're driving. And that's horrible that, someone could get struck and killed, and you don't want to see that, And, when, at least if there's no kids on the van, but the thing is when a kid's on a van and they see something like that, it's not too good for them. The one thing that gets me when I'm, driving in the van, when I'm not having kids on the van, is I get to listen to you guys as much as I can every day, so I don't have none of the problems and the frustration that's out there, because, having EWTN on when I'm driving, that's better than listening to regular radio and, block everything out and try to focus on what is more important, getting to one place to another,
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That's a good reminder for all of us when we're behind the wheel, when we have those frustrations. A lot of people pray the rosary. A lot of people will pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet. Many will listen to EWTN radio. So, Chris, thank you for what you do again.
Chris.
And prayers continue for you and all of your intentions in the family. And we appreciate you getting us started here on the phone calls today.
Yeah, great call. Okay, Jeffrey in Jacksonville, Florida sent in this email and said what frustrates him is that the bishops who know which priests have committed child abuse continue to hide them and shift the blame. Also, the fact that the Vatican hasn't come forward in the facts of the McCarrick case. Jeffrey, let me just share something about that. I think we all share that frustration, and there's so many folks right now that are praying and fasting and doing all sorts of things. They know how to do and what to do, but in terms of reaching out to God and saying, "Please, Lord, help us to open the hearts and the minds, and to get people to do the right thing." And the leaders of our church to do the right thing. So there's a lot of prayers, I think, storming heaven, Jerry, and I've already noticed a kind of like a little bit of a change that's happening in a good way. I don't know if that brings any hope to Jeffrey.
Well, yeah, Jeffrey, and frustration is probably putting it mildly when it comes to what we're seeing going on in the church right now with the obfuscation and the cover-ups and the abuse and all of that. So we certainly share the frustration, if not really an outright anger. And I found it very eye-opening, Debbie, this morning at Mass. The first reading was all about how it was about what a bishop should be, what a bishop should be like, not a drunkard. I'm paraphrasing here, not someone who is drunk on wine, not a lover of money. It mentions, of course, being married only one time, but it's not to say that it's not a knocking on celibacy. It's just to say multiple times men who have been married multiple times were not to be considered to be bishops, but I found it very, very interesting, and that reading really, really hit me this morning, Debbie. And I thought, dear Jesus, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for this to get resolved and get turned around? So I like what you said, Debbie. We need to pray and fast.
Pray and fast. Yeah. Well, the bishops, cardinals have asked us to do that. So. Denise is up next in Warren, Ohio on Living Bread Radio. And Denise, we give everything out virtually here. You get the virtual first-time caller bell. Hi, Denise. Welcome.
Hi. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. I actually think the last answer was probably the answer for my question. I get frustrated because my children are 24 and 25, and they don't go to Mass. We raised them in the sacraments. We went to Mass every Sunday. We did CCD. We did extra stuff. And I don't know. It just breaks my heart that they don't go to church anymore. I mean, not any church. So is there anything I can do about that?
Jerry, would you like to go first?
Yeah, well, I think let me tell you something, Denise. This is the runaway number one frustration, concern, prayer intention, however you want to word it, of parents and grandparents, and that is their loved ones, especially their kids and grandkids who have left the faith. In fact, Debbie and I are putting out a book series. The first one is going to be published by EWTN Publishing, and it's going to be Loved Ones Who Left the Faith. And we've got quite a variety of stories in there, not just kids, but spouses and siblings and so forth. But see, what you were just explaining, Denise, is we hear it all the time. It's like we raised them Catholic. We gave them the sacraments. We taught them the faith. They went to catechism, CCD, whatever, religious education classes, maybe even went to Catholic schools. in many cases. And we just live in a world right now where there are so many pressures, so many allurements out there that are drawing especially our young people's hearts, their minds, their attention. But the thing is, Denise, you have planted those seeds. You got to hold on to that faith, Denise, that hope that those seeds that you and your husband planted are there. You watered them. The Holy Spirit's going to continue to water them, even though they may seem to be wandering way off somewhere. God is still with them. I went through it. I came back to the faith in my mid-20s. So many people have this happen. So I just want to impart some confidence and some hope to you, Denise. Go ahead, Debbie, if you want to weigh in on that.
No, I think that was excellent what you said, Jerry, and then using your own personal testimony as well. Because I mean, look at you now, Jerry. You are so on fire for the Lord, and you're doing ministry work on a daily basis. I mean, so that's huge. I just wanted to say real quickly, Denise, lately doing this book, I've learned so much about the real life stories of people in the same position that you're in with your children and I'm in with my children. Okay, so we share that in common, unfortunately, but it joins us together. But Denise, I have come to the conclusion that the way we are going to win this spiritual battle, and it's a battle. Okay, Satan is on the prowl. He's trying to break up our families and break and turn everybody away from the faith. And he works on our past and works on our memories and works on our imagination. And I believe the way we're going to win this is to live our faith joyfully. Live it out. Live it fully, 100% authentically Catholic. And let it radiate from us and let it be a magnet for those around us. I believe it so strongly. I learned it from these stories that Jerry and I are interviewing folks and putting together for this wonderful first book that is hopefully going to be out by Christmas time. So I don't know if that helps you or reinforces something that maybe you're thinking deep inside of yourself, that maybe that's what you should do. But I can tell you this, I don't think debates work. I don't think, giving them countless books and rosaries and, hiding them in their suitcases and mailing them to them, I don't think that's going to work. I just don't. Maybe it does, but it hasn't worked for me. What do you think, Denise?
I appreciate all your words of encouragement, and I will just hang in there and trust in God. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Denise. Yeah, as Debbie said, at this point, maybe don't give them rosaries, but I know you're praying rosaries for them, and that's really the key thing right there. But we go to the age-old, centuries-old example of St. Monica, who prayed for decades, 30 years or more, for her son, St. Augustine, who's now, of course, a saint and a doctor of the church. So Thank you, Denise, for your call. We're talking today about frustration. What frustrates you? What really gets under your skin today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie? 833-288-3986. Okay, we welcome Laura next in Rochester, New York, listening to Take Two on 1460 AM. Hi, Laura, welcome. Hi, Laura.
Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I first of all wanted to say that what you said about these are opportunities for praying for grace and virtue, because I truly believe that. But the thing that has been bothering me is the hospital and medical field. I worked in it for 10 years, although I'm not a nurse, but I'm on the other end of it now where I'm critically ill. And I find that I wind up having to go to multiple doctors that don't read each other's notations. They don't read the lab results. And I wind up repeating tests that are time and money consuming, and I frankly think that a lot of that could be cut out if they would just take a few minutes. And I know they're busy. God bless all the medical field. I know they're busy, but at the same time, this puts a crunch on taxpayers. It puts a crunch on the health insurance prices. And, for someone like me, I'm a single mom, so I'm taking myself to these appointments, and sometimes that's not really a good thing for me to do. And sometimes I can't even because of my physical health. I just feel like if you speak up also, sometimes doctors have a little bit of a pride issue, let's say, and they feel like they're being usurped. They don't like it if you know something, some of them, not all of them. And you're very blessed if you get a good doctor who wants to listen to you. I just am in a position now. My son and I spent 8 hours in the ER sitting in a hallway Friday. And at halfway through, they took me off the monitor, and it was beeping off the charts in the beginning, and no one was paying attention. And then they took me off, and I was just lying there for maybe 3.5 hours, not even being monitored. So I thought, wow, what a waste. This is really a waste of space and time. I finally said, well, look, you didn't find what you were looking for, a blood clot. I can go to my doctor on Monday because you're not going to be doing these tests over the weekend. And they signed me out AMA against medical advice. I said, I don't agree with that, but okay, so be it. I'll put it in God's hands. So the frustration is you spend a lot of time and energy repeating tests, repeating information, and sitting around often for, I don't know, no particular reason. Right. Overcrowding, not enough doctors, it's so, I feel like if I could get paid for it, I'd be a rich person.
We all would. Laura, hold that thought just for a second there. There is so much that could be said about this. I have a few thoughts. I'm sure Debbie does as well. This is something, Laura, I think every one of us can relate to. We share some frustrations about it, so we will continue our conversation with you and Jerry and Ben and Pat and others on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Al Cresta.
The secular press just doesn't get our story. They don't even understand it. And so it's incumbent upon us to get the story straight and get the story out.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Here's today's quote from Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar. Thank you, Jesus, for the graces and gifts of this day. I praise you for the sorrow that detached me and the joy that made me aware of your presence. I love you, Lord God. Make me like you. Mother's spiral-bound perpetual calendar features an inspirational message for each day of the year. It's available from the EWTN Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
Peter Kreeft calls envy the dumbest sin. Why? Well, think about it. Most sins make you feel good for at least a minute. Envy makes you feel instantly miserable. And most often, if someone suffers from envy or constant comparison, it's rooted in the lie that something is missing in you. When I was 3 years old, my parents asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was shocked, dumbfounded. I looked at them like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I want to be a big one, Christopher." In other words, I want to be me when I grow up, just bigger than I am now. God doesn't want you to be somebody else. He wants you to be holy, which is to be fully you, fully alive. Not Saint someone else, but Saint insert your name here. He wants you to glorify Him in the way that only you can for all eternity. Start learning to love and appreciate what He's given you and what He's calling unrepeatable you to do. It's enough. Send us a message at connect@reallifecatholic.com. This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. Are you curious about the Catholic faith and need answers? Call to Communion is the show for you. Today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Glad you're taking part of your day to tune in to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I am Jerry Usher with Debbie Georgianni, Rich Jesse, our producer on the controls, Jeff Burson monitoring social media, and Ryan Penny is the friendly voice you get to talk to when you call 833-288-3986, talking about what frustrates us today on the program. And Laura in Rochester, listening on the Station of the Cross, has highlighted a number of things when it comes to medical care and health issues and doctor visits and ER and all of that stuff. And all I would say, Laura, is, as I said going into the break, I think some of these things are universal. You have to believe that, and Debbie always says that nurses are going to have a special place in heaven. I believe they are. And they and doctors and nurse practitioners and those who help out, we have to believe they get into this for the best of motives and the best of reasons. And I'm no expert on all of this, but there are so many influences, Debbie, as we know. The health insurance companies have rules and regulations, the number of patients they have to see, and all of this stuff. A lot of people actually see you before your doctor even gets in there. And I know my nurse practitioner, if I spend 20 minutes in an office visit with her, we may have face-to-face contact a total of 60 seconds, if not maybe 2 minutes or during that whole time, and it's all, electronic and everything. So it's really changed. It's kind of too bad, but at least we can thank God that impersonal is a word. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I just want to say, Laura, I share that same frustration. I play my own doctor, small d, and it's sometimes, received by the team of doctors that I have, and sometimes they just think I'm obnoxious and they wish I get out of their office, but that's okay. I have to do what I have to do that's right for me because I know my own health and my own body and how my own journey with cancer has impacted me. And so I know myself best. And so I'm going to share that. I'm not going to let someone else tell me how to do it. I want to have a voice in it. But I share that same frustration. The one thing I want to just say, though, that just, encourages me about your call. You called up and you made the comment that you're critically ill. And when we went on break, Laura, there were so many text messages that came in that said, we're praying for Laura. So the Take Two family is stepping up, and you've got tremendous prayer support around you. I just found that so encouraging. So I know that you shared the frustration about the medical world and what you're going through, but I'm walking away from this or taking away from your call this beautiful, organically unfolding family that is surrounding you in prayer. And I just wanted you to know that. Any other comments?
Thank you so much for saying that. And I do pray for all the medical field. I do know that the doctors go into it, I'm sure, with a passion. And even one of my doctors has a sign on the door that says, "First do no harm, God bless all who enters." And I'm so happy every time I see that. But then you do have the ones that they don't even know, I'm really sick, but with different things. So I've had doctors say, really don't know what to do for you or how to help you, and walk away, literally walk away from me. And I just pray right then and there and just say, okay, Lord, you know this is happening. You're allowing it at this point. I'm going to pray for this doctor then. And that's what my son and I did when we were in the ER on Friday, all afternoon and evening. We prayed for everybody who came through. We prayed for the doctors, and we prayed all the way home for them as well to continue to be enlightened, maybe to be open to possibly learning from some of their patients that they see. I see that as time. Yes, they only have so much time to see every person, heads on beds kind of thing, or treat them and roll them, get them in, get them out. If they're not dying, they hit the road. When it comes to the emergency room, I understand how hospitals work, but at the same time, that knowingness of just even having contact eye to eye is healing. And if doctors and nurses, who are often, more articulate and more knowledgeable than some doctors, could just take that second to make that eye contact or that hand to the shoulder, like, I see you, I know you, I'm trying to help. Even if it takes 2 seconds, I think that's so healing for people. But if they're not acknowledged at all, I think that can make people sicker in some cases, to just feel like they're alone and abandoned. And, being Catholic and Christian, or even having a faith in God, I think we all have to start to try to see it a little more through the spiritual eyes that God would want us to.
Yeah. By the way, Laura, if you may have heard me mention on the show before, I'm not shining a light on myself here. I do a volunteer chaplaincy at a local hospital, usually on Thursday. Actually, I'm going today, and I do make the rounds. And I can say so many times I have had people just say they're just almost in tears when I come in, not because it's me, but because someone is actually giving them attention. And this is no knock on doctors and nurses. I'd love to have, if there's a doctor or a nurse listening right now, maybe you're frustrated by constraints that are placed on you or things that you have to get accomplished or whatever, but a lot of times there just is that deep, deep sense of gratitude. And by the way, Laura, we just received an email from Julia. Julia says, I will be praying a chaplet of divine mercy at the 3 o'clock hour for Laura and her medical condition. Sincerely, Julia. So, Laura, there you go. You've got the Take Two family is already lifting you up in prayer. How do you feel about that?
Oh, my gosh. I have no words. I'm speechless, but I guarantee you, all the people calling in or listening in will be in my prayers and my Divine Mercy Chaplet, and my rosary that I'm going to be saying in my prayer group shortly will be dedicated to all the people that are listening in, and to both of you, Debbie and Jerry, and thank you so much for doing this. Just being acknowledged, even for a moment, as you said, it just takes that. If you can't do anything else, just do that. That's so helpful. So I guess that's my thing. I appreciate all the people that have helped me, and I really, I'm overwhelmed by the people saying they would pray for me. I'm a single mom.
Yeah. But
Laura,
the reason why is because we really believe we're the body of Christ, the mystical body of Christ, and when you're suffering, we're suffering. And we in 4.5 years we've been doing this show, the Take Two family has just beautifully unfolded into these wonderful prayer warriors who take on the mission of caring for one another. So, Laura, keep us posted, please. And we've seen miracles happen over the 4.5 years. Please keep us posted. Drop us an email or call us anytime. Yes, please, to take2@EWTN.com, because we want to praise God when good things happen in your life and, you have those healings or things that happen. But Laura, don't forget something. Jerry said something he actually instant messaged over to me as you were talking, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. Your suffering it can actually be turned into just a great ministry. And what you're doing, praying for the doctors and everything, that's going to have eternal benefits for them and for you. So we should never ever feel like our suffering, and believe me, we're all suffering in some way, whether emotionally, physically, spiritually. Okay, we should never let that be a missed opportunity. And I just love that. Never. Yeah, I love that you're turning it into prayer for the doctors. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I have a big doctor's appointment next month, and I'm going to do the same thing. Laura, thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you for inspiring me as well. And now I'm going to hang up and say I should have said I'm so overwhelmed with gratitude right now, and God is so good. And I do believe that when we suffer, Christ suffers with us. He never lets us do it alone. So if we can attach our suffering to His for others, for healing, I think it's very important to always remember we never do suffer alone, even if it feels like we are. That's right.
Suffering it's actually a beautiful thing if it is united to Christ and His suffering on the cross. So, Laura, God bless you. We'll let you go with that. A lot more people here that want to share what frustrates them. That's what we're talking about today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. What bothers you? What gets under your skin? What gives you those opportunities to maybe offer something together with Christ to the Father? What gives you the opportunities to grow in patience and love and charity and others of the virtues? 833-288-3986. Okay, Jerry is in Cleveland listening on The Rock to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Jerry in Cleveland. Welcome.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? I'll be with you guys next month at the Your Spirit Drive.
Fantastic. I think about you all the time when I think about that Spirit Drive, and I always wonder if you're going to be coming back. So thank you for the good news. I'm glad you're coming back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You did such a wonderful job when you were at the Spirit Drive. Well, anyway, first I just want to say what a beautiful and lovely soul Laura is, and I was praying for her while I was on hold as well. So, but getting back to the topic, Jerry, I've been where you are, where, I get routed to this place and that place and this place and that place on the phone. And then insult to injury, you get that disconnection. I've been there. But the thing I was going to tell you about today, though, was this one kind of takes the cake. I made a doctor's appointment at this facility and I made it on a Saturday. And I'd never been there on a Saturday before, but I was getting ready to go, and I get in the car, try to start the car, and the car is dead in the driveway. So I'm thinking, okay, great. Now what do I do? I better call them, and I don't want to be a no call, no show. I better call them. So I call, and I'm getting this recording. Thank you for your patience. Please continue to hold, and someone will be with you shortly. So I'm listening and I'm waiting, and there's all these little kind of commercials about the facility, that you're hearing all this, repetitive stuff, and then thank you for your patience. Please continue to hold, and it goes over and over. Someone will be with you shortly. Well, I was waiting and waiting forever. So then I finally just thought, okay, you know what? I need to call someone about my car. And so anyway, I believe at this point I hung up, and then I called about the car. Someone came out, and then I had to talk to them about the car. But then my daughter came over. And I'm trying to remember now. I think she just happened to pop in. I said to her, "Oh, this is good. You can wait. I'll call the facility, and then you can hold on while I'm talking to the guy about the car." So she's like, "Okay, fine." So here she was waiting for me, and it's still, getting the same recording. So I'm trying to figure things out with the guy, and he's going to tow my car and all this stuff. And so then for a while, my daughter was talking to him, and then I was back on the phone just thinking someone's got to pick up pretty soon, So I'm waiting. Nothing. So then finally, then the guy does leave, and I'm waiting more, and it was like an eternity, and I finally just gave up. I said, I hate to be a no call, no show, but I don't know what else to do. No one's picking up. So then I gave up on it, and then I called back on Monday, and I said to them, I told them what happened. I said, look, I'm very sorry. I had every intention on making this appointment. I said, I'm not the kind of person that just doesn't show up. I said, so I'm really, really sorry. So then this guy says to me, "Oh, this was Saturday?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, we never pick up the phones on a Saturday." And I was like completely dumbfounded. I was like, "You're kidding me. You're absolutely kidding me." And he's like, "Yeah, we just don't bother with phones on Saturday." I'm like, "Well, why in the world do you have a recording that keeps saying, 'Thank you for your patience. Please continue to hold. Someone will be with you shortly.'" I said, "Why do you have a recording that says that?" And it was like water off a dog's back for him. He's like, didn't even seem to think it was a big deal, I guess. I don't know. I'm just like, I cannot relate to this at all, because I could never think as a person like working there, like that this particular recording is such, I would never be able to in my wildest dreams, think that this recording was a great idea,
Wow.
And so it was just very frustrating after all that. It really was.
Well, look at it this way, Jerry. They weren't lying. I mean, if you had held on long enough, they would have picked up the phone on Monday. So you could have you could have kept holding. But this is that one almost takes the cake, Debbie. I mean,
that's very frustrating.
Usually most people will have, or most businesses, doctors' offices, companies, and so forth, will have a different message that they might put on, say on a weekend, a Saturday, or something like that. But that one's really a doozy there.
It is. I've experienced that as well, and I would say that is definitely off the charts for frustration level, Jerry. Because I agree with you. It's just kind of a sense of incompetency in the business world, and it's unfortunate because it still requires somebody, like you said, Jerry. Somebody has to flip that switch, to put the thing on, or the out of office message. And if that doesn't happen, then the rest of us, we waste a lot of time on hold. But you know what, Jerry? I'll tell you what. I mean, we live and learn, right? I mean, I guess it's probably never happened to you again, correct?
Saturday appointment again, that's for sure.
Bless your heart.
But I mean, but he was so nonchalant about it, you know, like, oh yeah, you know.
I know. Well, I remember one time I had a similar situation like that, but when I reached the live person, the real person, they made the comment. They said, "Oh, that was a message from 6 months ago. We don't carry those hours anymore." I'm like, "Is anybody going to change the message?" Or so, it happens, I tell you. But Jerry, thank you so much for sharing. We're getting a lot of text messages. A lot of people share your frustration, yours and Jerry's, with these automated systems that we encounter on a regular basis. Thanks, Jerry. God bless you. Can't wait to see you guys next month in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Jerry's listening on The Rock. Great radio station.
Yeah, and it is that time of year. In fact, Debbie and I and a couple of our colleagues in Catholic Radio, Sherry Brownrigg and Dave Palmer, will be hosting a pledge drive for Sacred Heart Radio and their network out of Seattle. And then the week after that, the Station of the Cross. So, Debbie, I know that you join me in encouraging our listeners. You and I have been doing this for a long time, Debbie, and I don't think there's ever been a more urgent time for people to support EWTN and their local Catholic radio station.
Well, and I'll tell you something else that's very encouraging. There's a few pledge drive results coming in from around the country, and I understand that they're going over the goals. And that's awesome. That is awesome. Please, when your local listening area comes to you and says, please support your station, make that generous gift. Please do it, because we need Catholic radio now more than ever. And I think everybody's realizing it. And so please support it. And thank you in advance for your generosity. Okay, I have to just share this, Jerry. Mary Beth texted in. She is so precious. I just love when she texts in. It's like E.F. Hutton. I drop everything and I listen to what Mary Beth has to say. She says she doesn't appreciate negative comments. When like a senior citizen needs hope and encouragement, and they overhear somebody make a negative comment about maybe their state in life or their age or something, it's just not a good thing to do to our seniors. And then also, she doesn't like the way oftentimes adults will make rude and irresponsible and negative comments around children. And she just wants to remind everybody that these are small ears and very impressionable. And these children are like little sponges, and it's robbing them of their peace. Mary Beth, couldn't agree with you more. That frustrates me as well. Jerry?
Yeah, we're talking about frustrations today. 833-288-3986. Take two with Jerry and Debbie goes back to the phones. Ben is in Concord, New Hampshire, listening on Hope FM. Ben, you get our Virtual Patience Award today. Thanks for hanging in there, my brother, on Hope FM. Welcome to the program.
Yeehaw. Thank you. Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing well today, Ben. How about yourself?
I'm better today. Sunday after Mass, though, my partner, the guy who owns the actual gym I work at, I'm a strength coach, and I'm the head coach for the athletes. Mm-hmm. I work with kids from like 8 on up to Olympic and professional athletes. And he sent me this message, and there's this kid in a Facebook post for another gym who left our gym because of scheduling reasons, basically, and went to this other gym, which is fine. I mean, turnover happens. But there's this gym claiming all of his success, and it's just so frustrating. I ended up messaging the guy and not being as charitable as I could be. Let's just say it that way. I worked with this kid for 9 months, maybe a year, put 20 pounds of muscle on him, made him jump higher, made him faster, did all this stuff. And this guy just, oh, yeah, congratulations, you've done such and such athletic achievement. And so very frustrated.
Yeah, you can hear the frustration, Ben, especially with something like that. I mean, you're improving somebody's health and their strength and their overall well-being and quality of life. And, I don't mean to, the only way I can think to put this is I think we've all experienced this, Ben, and sometimes, you said you kind of got carried away a little bit with the instant message to the guy. I'm sure you're sorry about that. You've probably gone to confession, or you probably will, and take care of all that. But I think the only way to approach something like this is really nothing that you can do about it except to simply let it go. It's a chance for you to really glorify God and say, God, you worked through me to help this young man achieve these things, and I thank you for that, and I thank you for him, and even thank God for this other Jim or this other individual that has taken credit for the beautiful things that have happened in this young man's life. And Debbie, it's a chance for humility and offering something to God, and I think God will bless that. Graces come in torrents when we do things like that.
Absolutely. And Ben, you know what? And don't be so hard on yourself. You know, you reacted because you were hurt. You know, you put the work in, and you wanted credit for that, and rightly so. You put the hard work in. I would say too, though, I don't think there's anything wrong with reconnecting with that other Jim and just saying, hey, you know what? I kind of overreacted initially. I'm just really hurt because I did put the work in, and obviously I'm not getting credit for it. But you know what? It's okay. God sees all. God sees everything that I do. And that's what my husband always says. My husband tells me that on a daily basis. Debbie, just always say, God sees everything. God knows everything. God sees everything. And it kind of, because it happens all the time, Ben. It happens in ministry. It happens in business. It happens at school. It happens in the home. People don't get credit where credit is due, and it just happens. And so I think I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, but I think you can kind of rewind it and maybe just, process through it. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually drove by his gym for the first time today and almost stopped in, but I still wasn't calm enough. I think after I go to confession, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
I need to be in a better
place. Yeah, you're hurt. You're hurt by it, and rightly so.
Well, and you know what? You're a very good man, Ben. And there's a Bible verse, a passage that just came to mind here, and it's a good reminder for all of us. It's when Jesus says, when you pray, I can't remember. I'm going to paraphrase here, but go into your private place or go into your closet or whatever. He says, and pray to your Father in secret. And just along the lines that Debbie was saying, God sees and knows everything. And Ben, God, you know what? God may bring you 5 more of these young men to do exactly what you did and to help them out. 10 more. He could use you in such powerful ways. He could use you to minister and evangelize through the training work that you're doing. So lots of opportunities to grow through this, Ben, and it sounds like you've really taken that challenge, and you're really going to do that. So thanks for your call. We appreciate it so very, very much.
We do, Ben. Keep up the great work. Okay, real quickly, you know what frustrates me? I'll tell you what frustrates me. Every single time we do this show, we end up running out of time and leaving fine folks on the line. And that's what frustrates me. Okay, Kimberly emailed in. She says she's got 2 things. When people cannot respect boundaries, that's what frustrates her. That's from Kimberly. And she also says people who seem to get away with bad things and they are not held accountable. Oh, yeah, that's a big one. That frustrates me too. Thanks,
I think the
Kimberly.
Bible says a few things about that too, especially in the Psalms. We have so many great listeners. We got a lot of emails today and social media comments. And again, as Debbie said, we just simply won't be able to get to everybody on the phones. Pat, forgive us. You waited so long, Pat, in Warsaw, Indiana. Please, Pat, call on our next unscripted program, which, by the way, when is that, Debbie? That's probably got to be coming up here.
It's coming up. And Eddie as well, and
at the
Becky.
end of the month on the 27th. Yeah, unscripted is where anything goes. But maybe a good way to end the program. Our dear listener Zach, who listens probably, it sounds like every day, he suggested the serenity prayer, Debbie, as a good way to deal with frustration. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you, Zach, for that suggestion.
I love that. Okay, folks, please rush over to jerryanddebbie.com. Check out the webinar that is for today. Vera Maria Santo is going to be with us on same-sex attraction. We've got 10 very, very deep and powerful questions to ask her, and she's going to enlighten us and educate us on this topic. So please go to jerryanddebbie.com and register there. It's free, folks. It's free. These are webinars provided to you because you've asked for them. And so we're trying to be at service to you. Okay, tomorrow's show, happy, holy, and single. We're talking about those of you that are committed singles in the Catholic Church. We want to hear from you tomorrow. Jerry, that's going to be an exciting show.
Yeah, we got some other really good shows coming up later this week as well, but I really want to encourage you. Our last webinar was with Luke Maxwell on young people and depression and suicide. Today it's on living with same-sex attraction, or if you have a son or a daughter experiencing that, Vera Maria Santo is the one to listen to. Register right now at jerryanddebbie.com. Have a beautiful and blessed day.